everyone, I hope y'all are having a great day, and today I'll be reviewing Landline by Rainbow Rowell. I've been so pumped for this book because, hello, it's Rainbow Rowell and everything she writes is magic. Seriously, Rainbow Rowell is so great at writing, it makes me feel like blessed that I'm allowed to read her words. Like, it's such a pleasure to read her books. I feel like it should almost be a privilege. Okay, enough of that shameless author worshipping. Let's talk about what Landline is actually about. Landline is the story of the marriage between Georgie McCool and Neil Grafton. Their marriage has always been pretty rocky, but things worsen tenfold when Georgie is so close to getting the green light for this TV show that she's been working on since she was in college. And the problem with this is that Georgie has to stay home and work during her Christmas break if she wants to make this show happen, which also means that she has to ditch going to Omaha for the Christmas break, which is where Neil's mom lives. So Neil ends up taking their two kids and flying out to Omaha, leaving Georgie in LA to work, and wonder if that was the last straw in their marriage. But then Georgie finds this magic yellow landline in her mom's house, and she calls Neil. She reaches Neil, but this Neil is Neil from 15 years ago. It's Neil from 1998. A week before he proposed to Georgie. So Georgie's left wondering, is fate telling her that her marriage is so unhappy that it's giving her a chance to prevent the marriage from even happening? Okay, so I feel like that was a really long synopsis. Landline was a really enjoyable read. All of Rainbow's books are. My favorite of her books will probably always be Eleanor and Park, but I love all of them. I think Rainbow Rowell's greatest strength is writing dialogue. Like, I honestly believe that Rainbow Rowell is the queen of dialogue. No one writes better dialogue than Rainbow Rowell. And the rest of her writing is great too, but dialogue is where she really shines. Her dialogue is what affects me the most when I'm reading. Like, anytime something's in quotation marks, I know I'll love it. And a lot of the time, my favorite scenes in her books are just scenes of dialogue. Like in Eleanor and Park, my favorite scene is Eleanor and Park having their very first phone call when Eleanor is babysitting. And in Landline, my favorite scene is probably one of the phone calls between current Georgie and 1998 Neil. So yeah, her strength in writing dialogue is definitely emphasized in Landline, considering a lot of the scenes are phone calls, which means amazing dialogue. Landline doesn't have the same lighthearted feel to it that Rainbow's other adult book, Attachments, does. It's about a crumbling marriage, so it's definitely sad, but I also feel like it's really realistic. I'm not married and I don't have kids, so I didn't find Georgie the most relatable character ever, but at the same time, I did still find her relatable because, in my opinion, I don't think characters are relatable because of the situations they're in. I think they're relatable because of the way they react. And if I were in Georgie's shoes in this story, I might have reacted the same way. I liked all the characters in this book, but I didn't love any of them. Landline was great. I don't think it's as great as Rainbow Rowell's other books, but I only say that because her other books are just so amazing. Like, Rainbow has set the bar so high for herself. Landline is great. It's good. I recommend it. Seriously. Now that's it for the non-spoiler section, so if you haven't read Landline, I'd suggest leaving now. Right now. Now. Alright, let's talk the details of this wonderful book. First, I want to say that I think Neil got too angry for the situation. Like, I really liked Neil. He was so cute. But I seriously think that he got too angry. Like, if I were Georgie and I'd been working on this TV show, my dream TV show, since I was in college with my best friend, and I finally had the opportunity to make it happen, I would be thrilled. And I'd expect my husband to be thrilled as well. Like, yeah, I get the feeling that Georgie chooses work over everything else quite often, but this time it's seriously a really big deal. Yes, they have plane tickets, but I don't think that's a problem because Georgie seems pretty well off. And this is the chance for Georgie to finally make her dream come true. She can ditch this stupid sitcom that she loathes for the actual TV show that she's been dreaming of since she was in college. Like, that's amazing. That's an amazing opportunity. So I was really frustrated with Neil for getting angry with Georgie and leaving her and then ignoring her phone calls. Which, by the way, that's a question for you guys. Do you think Neil was ignoring Georgie's phone calls? Because a part of me really believes he was. How is it that every single time she called, he was either out of the house or sleeping or doing something where he couldn't talk to Georgie? Unless Georgie has, like, the absolute worst timing ever. I also want to mention Georgie and Seth's friendship right when Seth was introduced, I texted my friend saying, I swear to God, if Seth and Georgie get romantic, I'm going to burn myself. So when Seth told Georgie he loved her, I was confused. I'm still confused. I want to say that he meant it in like a brother-sister way, but then again, he was also like, maybe we're not meant to be this way. And you only see me when I'm with you, which doesn't sound very brother-sisterly to me. I don't know, I usually love best friends turn lovers tropes. Like, that's one of my favorite tropes, honestly. But no, not in this case. Georgie and Neil if I've ever. Seth, get out of the freaking way! I was frustrated with Georgie for not working her butt off on her TV show, on passing time, not working on the scripts, which is really irrational of me looking back on it, because hello, she's clearly going to be stressed about her marriage. She thinks it's ending, so of course she's going to think about that and put energy into that, not on work. Anyone would say that a crumbling marriage is more important than scripts for a TV show. But at the same time, I couldn't help but feel a little bit frustrated. Like, Georgie, if you're not on your way to Omaha, you're just wasting time. This is time you have to make your dream come true. So you can either do that, or you can go straight to Omaha. Like, a lot of the time, she wasn't even working. I was like, Georgie, you're doing nothing. You're just sitting. You're letting Seth down, and Scotty too, and that weird TV producer with a really strange name. Okay, so we know by reading this before section at the end of the book that the reason why Neil proposed to Georgie was because 2013 Georgie was making 1998 Neil calls. Like, the reason 1998 Neil proposed to 1998 Georgie was because 2013 Georgie was trying to convince 1998 Neil that maybe their marriage was a mistake and maybe it wasn't worth it and maybe it wasn't enough. Like, the phone calls were all part of the plan. It was already written in the timeline, and all Georgie was doing by making these phone calls was following the path. But before we knew that, my theory was that it was the timeline correcting itself. Whenever Georgie remembered something else from Neil's proposal, like when Neil says, we'll make our own enough, she remembers it after making the phone call. So I was thinking that the reason she didn't remember it before making the phone call was because he never said that, and that he only said that after she made the phone call because that was the timeline correcting itself. Are you following me? Like, each time she made a phone call, her memories changed because it was timeline correcting itself. Am I making sense? I don't know. Turns out I was wrong, but that was my theory. I really liked the ending. I liked how Georgie had her rom-com moment, racing through the airport, trying to get to her flights. I liked how the younger couple at the Omaha airport thought that Georgie was like their Christmas mission and that they had to help her out. That was cute. And also, I really liked the reconciliation between Neil and Georgie. I mean, they still have their problems to fix, but I think they're on the road to fixing them. However, I just really, really wish, and this is the irrational part of me speaking again, that she completed the scripts before leaving. Like, this opportunity for her dream TV show, what if it never comes again? I wanted her to save her marriage and make her dream TV show come true. But if she had to choose one of the two, then of course, I would want her to choose her marriage. Georgie and Neil if I've ever. I love them. I love them so much. They're so wonderful together. Like, they're so good for each other. One of my favorite lines in Landline is when Neil tells Georgie, "You've ruined me for Dawn. That's supposed to make you feel better." And Georgie says, "Neil, I want to ruin you for everyone." Rainbow Rowell. It's queen of dialogue. Queen of dialogue. Alright, those are my thoughts on Landline. This book was wonderful. I liked it a lot. I want to reread it around Christmas time, I think. I think that would be really great. Please tell me your thoughts. Did you love it? Were you disappointed? I would love to know. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you guys are having a fantastic day and happy reading. Goodbye!